previous episode, we saw that Sanjaya addressed Lord Krishna as Madhava, the primary meaning there being the goddess of fortune Mahalakshmi. Dava was her husband. So Madhava denoted the lord of the goddess of fortune. Now in this sloka, Arjuna addresses Lord Krishna as Madhava. This also happens in the very first chapter, the 37th sloka. Now why did Arjuna address Lord Krishna as Madhava? What are the meanings that are associated with the word Madhava here? What is the context in which Arjuna used this specific word Madhava? And why did he choose to use the word Madhava? So let's look into these meanings. Tasman narha vayam hantum dhartarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhinasyama madhava. Ma, as we know, means Mahalakshmi, goddess Mahalakshmi, who came from the Milky Ocean. We saw that she was the child of the Milky Ocean. The Samudra Raja's daughter was goddess Mahalakshmi. Now her husband is Madhava or Krishna. So Madhava is known as the lord of goddess Mahalakshmi. Now Arjuna addresses Krishna as Madhava. So the first meaning here is Ma, Mahalakshmi, Dava, the Lord. Here Mahalakshmi could mean goddess of fortune or goddess of prosperity. Now when Krishna is addressed as the Lord of goddess of prosperity, Arjuna says, "Hey Krishna, you must live by your name. You know what? You are the Lord of goddess of fortune. Now imagine this battlefield and you want me to kill all these people who belong to me, who are my friends or my relatives. And then you are the goddess of fortune, but misfortune will befall all these people. Now what will happen to your name? Then how will you ever be called as Madhava? So, Sukhinasyama Madhava, Swajanam hi katam hatva. How can I kill my own people and be happy? You have to answer this, Madhava, because you are Madhava. You are the husband of the goddess who is actually the goddess of prosperity and fortune." Now the second meaning with which Arjuna addresses Krishna is, "Hey Madhava, you are the lord of Mahalakshmi." Ma again is Mahalakshmi. Dava is the lord. But here Mahalakshmi means who is an embodiment of Karuna. Now goddess Mahalakshmi is the Karuna who always sits in the heart of the Lord. Now this Karuna should also be in the heart of Lord Krishna, and that is the reason Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Madhava. You want me to kill all these people who will die, who will lose their arms and other limbs. Now after doing all that, how can you be called as a merciful person? How can you be an embodiment of Karuna? So think about it. Are you sure you want me to kill all these people? After that, Sukhinasyama Madhava, how can you expect me to be happy after killing my own kith and kin? You will be happy because goddess Mahalakshmi is there in your heart. You will be happy because you're Madhava. But how do you expect me to be happy, Madhava? So this is the other question. Now here, Arjuna is so confused that he does not realize that this is a war for justice. And he is the biggest soldier. He is a commander-in-chief. He is one of the Pandavas. Now he can't worry about whether he can kill the wrongdoers or not, especially in a battlefield. Now Krishna is there to give the right knowledge, and Krishna says this is right and this is wrong. In a war zone, you can't worry about killing people because it is a righteous war. So the next question, the reason why Arjuna addresses Krishna as Madhava is, Ma has one other meaning which is called knowledge, and Dava means the Lord. Now Madhava would mean the Lord of knowledge. So Arjuna is so confused that he addresses Lord Krishna as Madhava, which means, hey, you are the Lord of knowledge. Knowledge here is not just normal knowledge, it also means transcendental knowledge, the jnana, the ultimate jnana. So the Lord of knowledge, please give me the right knowledge to know what is right and what is wrong, and guide me through the right path. And that is why he addresses Krishna as Madhava. So for these different reasons, Arjuna uses one single word called Madhava, whereby he addresses the Lord of Mahalakshmi, which is his own Krishna. Our elders have given so many different interpretations for the word Madhava. I would just like to share two more different meanings. Madhava has a very interesting meaning where it is Ma, Mauna, Dha, Dhyana, and Va, Yoga. With Mauna, Dhyana, and Yoga, contemplating in silence, Madhuvidya is attained. Through Madhuvidya, one can attain Madhava, who is the Lord of Madhuvidya. Another meaning for the word Madhava is Ma means no, Dava means Lord. Madhava here would mean for the one who has no other Lord, which means that Madhava is the ultimate God and he does not have anyone who is superior to them. So all the other deities have Madhava as their Lord. Now that we know the meaning of the name Madhava, when are we supposed to use it and how are we supposed to use it? What is the name going to do for us? The name can do a lot of things for us. Now, because it is Mahalakshmi's husband and Mahalakshmi is the goddess of fortune, the very name Madhava can give us all the fortune that we can think of. It can give us prosperity, it can give us power, it can give us the courage because we have the power, we have the fame, we have everything. Goddess Mahalakshmi can give us all what we want. Now, Ma also means knowledge and Dava is the Lord of knowledge. So Madhava will give us knowledge both for this world and for the spiritual world. Now Madhava also is the Lord of Madhuvidya, so he can also grant us Madhuvidya and give himself to us. There is a very subtle, interesting thing here. Now Krishna induced Arjuna to address Lord Krishna as Madhava. Is that right? Because everybody is an instrument in Lord Krishna's hands. Now why did Krishna want Arjuna to use the word Madhava in the very first chapter? That's because Krishna knows what's going to happen in the future. Krishna knows that Arjuna is going to surrender to the Lord in the future. And the normal procedure to accept the surrender is it has to come through Mahalakshmi. Only then our surrender will succeed. Now Krishna, being the best friend of Arjuna, wants his surrender to succeed. Now he helps him by making him use the word Madhava, which means the consort of Lord Mahalakshmi. So thereby, through Mahalakshmi, Arjuna surrenders to the Lord. Therefore, his surrender was successful and the entire Bhagavad Gita was born. So when Arjuna used the word Madhava, Krishna just did not give him the fortune or the kingdom or anything. He gave himself to Arjuna, thereby protecting Arjuna in all aspects that was required for him. So when we dwell on the Lord's name as Madhava, the Lord is so happy to give us all what we want and give himself to us and protects us in all possible directions. Therefore, people say that when you sleep, you have to use the word Madhava. Bogi Boga Shayaniya Shayine Madhavaya Madhuvidvishe Namaha. After reciting this sloka and repeating the Lord's name as Madhava, 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 we will have a pleasant sleep where we sleep at the feet of the Lord. Goddess Mahalakshmi is there with him. Therefore, we do not get any bad dreams and we can have a sound sleep and be refreshed the next morning. The word Madhava will also help us to get back anything that we have lost. Because Arjuna lost his kingdom, he lost everything that he had. And Krishna, because of the word Madhava, gave him back, restored him his entire kingdom. So also, anything that we've lost, we can get back. We must remember that Lord got Mahalakshmi after churning the Samudra. Therefore, our Samsara Sagara is a huge Samudra and the Lord Madhava will help us to cross this Samsara Sagara. We might have heard of Tirupavai. This was sung by Andal, who was the only lady Alvar among the 12 Alvars. Alvars are those who were immersed in devotion of Lord Vishnu. Now Andal in her Tirupavai in the very last 30th Pasuram says Vanga Kadal Kadainda Madhavanai, which means that the Lord who got the name as Madhava because of the churning of the ocean. And ends the same pasuram or the same sloka with Engum Tiruvarul Petri in Burvar, which means that they all will be happy everywhere, both in this world and in the other world. Which means that repeating the Lord's name will help us not just in this world but in the eternal world as well. Now, in contrary, Arjuna uses the word Madhava in the very first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Madhava is in the very first chapter. In Tiruppavi, Madhava is in the very last pasuram, which means that all the time we have to recite the word Madhava from start to finish. Sarva Kaleshu Madhava, which means at all times keep reciting the word Madhava. So let's keep dwelling on the word Madhava. Let's tell the word Madhava aloud so that God will help us in all possible aspects. Just as how He helped Arjuna, He will protect us. He will be for us all the time with us. Selvathul Selvam, Sevis Selvam, Selvam, Selvathul Ellam Thalai, which means that hearing is one of the best wealth that we have in our hand. So the goddess of wealth will give us also this wealth, which means that as much as we keep reciting the God's name, we must help people listen to the God's name, because hearing is the greatest wealth. So let's spread the word Madhava to everybody. So let's recite Lord Krishna's names and be blessed.
Madhava Achyuta Krishna Hare Rishikesha Kesava Govinda Vasudeva Bhagavan Janardana